For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a product review on a model from Dometic. So with me here today I've got the Dometic Leggera Air Awning. So the Leggera has been actually in kind of Dometic or formerly known as Campers range for a number of years now, and kind of we moved forward into this new 2025 collection. Has had a big kind of facelift and a few sort of details improved upon it really. So probably the biggest sort of main headline news is the fact that actually we've changed materials for the new season. So what we've got with this latest Leggera is the fact we're running now with 150 denier fabrics. It's a nice fabric, but more importantly, actually, it's dyed in a different way that gives it better colour retention. So what we find is it's going to look sharper for longer. This is achieved by what they do is they kind of actually dye the yarn before it's woven into the fabric itself. This really, the best analogy we kind of come up with is the difference between, say, a carrot and a radish. You cut both in half, your carrot has a colour all the way through, whereas your radish has colour on the outside and also the pure white on the inside. So in this carrot scenario here, as basically the sunlight comes out, what it does, it strips the outer layer away. So all we're going to see is the normal colour underneath that skin upon the skin. Whereas, for example, with the old style of the model they used to use in a radish, it used to be white underneath. So when that outer coating is taken away by the sunlight, it looks tired, looks faded. That way we're looking something much sharper for longer. Another big sort of difference with the new Leggera obviously is the peaked inflatable tube. So, thank you. This is really designed that's going to give you better internal height. And because this model actually is designed to fit caravans as well as motorhomes, it means that certainly when you have a habitational door, typically on a motorhome, it means that even if you are quite close to the top of the door is close to the underside of the winder awning, which is the part you normally connect it into, it's going to help to decrease the risk of actually when the door opens, it's going to catch the roof. So it's something that's been designed, and it's probably the only model really on the market that's kind of like that as such. So what we've got really is a nice new awning. It's kind of based on the same model we know and love. We've got a single inflation point that pumps up the whole awning quite nice and easily. You get a manual pump supply with it as well, which is great. It's got what we call dual beading, so two different beading sizes, or CADA as we call it. So it's designed that it can go into a caravan rail, like I have it on now. Alternatively, it can go into a cassette awning, so like a winder awning that's on kind of a motorhome. So you've got the best of both worlds. So because you've got a sort of a 5mm and 7mm, even if your wind out for any reason has a thicker beading requirement, it still fits. Again, it's really quite cleverly done. It comes in two different widths, so do a 220 and a 260. With me here, I've got the 260, and when you move to the 260 size, it comes in two different heights. An S, i.e. for small, this is basically designed to fit between 235 and 265. That's going to be pretty much all of the caravans and the majority of sort of lower profile motorhomes. Alternatively, do a 260M. Now that fits taller motorhomes, so the fit height range is 265 to 295. This is achieved really by such quite a clever little system. We've got a zip located on the side here. Now, this is like a kind of suitcase design where you can expand it to increase the height of attachment. So there's a zip on the inside and another one on the outside, and that basically helps to increase the height. So with the zip closed, this currently runs at 235 to 250. And if you need to go to that higher point, then obviously by undoing both zips, it extends, and then the baseline will be 250 up to 265. So that gives you an extra 15 centimeters of adjustment directly up. As you see here, we've got sort of nice big crystal clear windows in the front. There's also a privacy curtain which kind of comes directly down, which works really quite nicely. And then we've got windows again on the side here as well to get the privacy. Low-level ventilation points, mid-level ventilation points are here. And we've got an apex vent up here as well. And that's really to help sort of circulate air and sort of help reduce condensation. Two side doors are sort of, again, opposite to one another. And actually, you've got, really quite smartly, a mesh panel built into it. So what you can do, if I unpeg that, is have a better airflow into the model. That rolls back, and you've got this really nice kind of fine mesh onto it. So again, but I think the joys of this is something that's quick, it's easy to pitch. You can see from my own kind of Attwoolls pitching and packing video that we've done, it took me the best part, I think, about 7-8 minutes to pitch the whole thing. Just feed it on. One thing they've done is colour coordinate the pegging points as well. So down here at the back, we've got two orange tabs. Those are the ones you've obviously pegged first, and we've got two orange tabs located at the front as well. So again, those are the fundamental parts you put down first, and then before you inflate the awning. So The storm straps on Leggera for the new season comes included as well, so that's a great little extra. And one thing you can do on this model you can't do on a lot of other competitive models is the fact there's a zip located in the front. This is designed to take a optional canopy that comes on the front of it. Admittedly, they've not made a canopy for the exact colour with this new kind of sort of lighter grey fabric, but the old canopy fits quite happily, even with the peak. So you can utilise that quite nice and neatly, and something maybe they will do in the future is add a canopy in the same colour. But I mean, the canopy really is just practical, give you a bit more shelter. Just essentially as a roof, and then one kind of sort of pole additionally to it as well. Even the small little details of actually what they're doing is that obviously the orange points have also been sort of what they call dope dyed or solution dyed, i.e. yarn rather than the fabric, again to keep kind of colour retention. The front door you can almost, if you wanted to, if you didn't want to buy the optional canopy, you could in theory buy some additional king poles and create like essentially an extra canopy directly on top of it. On all the pegging points down the bottom here, we've actually got pegging ladders. So it makes life a little easier to press pegging points, and you can obviously apply amounts of tension onto it, even if you're on kind of hard ground. And sometimes it means you haven't got to unpeg the actual peg. Just do different, move the ladder rather than move the peg out the ground, you see. So in the bottom here we've got eyelets which are usually meant for guiding points through. What you've also got is you could use the ladder bands to create, like I said, almost like a little canopy with the front section. Some additional poles will be required, but failing out, what we can do is actually roll this window up. The curtain on the inside actually comes down, so that's where you get your privacy as well. So that just sort of toggles, basically comes down and velcros to the main part of the panel itself. And when we want to kind of open it all up, we can just roll that fabric. The thing is, I do quite like is the crystal clear window on the front here. It's a really nice sort of thicker, heavy PVC material. So, and you don't get that horrible kind of crinkliness with it, which you can with a lot of other models as well. Just got little ties there to kind of keep that at bay. And also because you've got this kind of almost brow peaked, it means that the entrance door is a little bit taller than you expect as well. So I mean, I'm about 6'2", merely got to dip a little bit to get in here, but once you get inside, that really helps to make it kind of quite boastful. In fact, actually, let's bring the camera around and we'll kind of get a bit more up close and personal with some of these internal features. So I think generally, like I said, in terms of I think it looks quite sharp. As we kind of float around, you can see how much that is. That's also going to help kind of with drainage as well, because you've got a very kind of steeper slope lipping down. We talked about that apex vent located at the top there to help to increase airflow. That's obviously the zip, so it's one like I said, internally as well as externally that kind of helps to increase the height of that. But with the door panel clean, it works really quite nicely. Webbing straps are located on the side as well. That really is almost like a one pitch system, so it pulls the base out as well as the side. And again, matching guy ropes, which actually have a little kind of flink, got a little flint to it, so actually reflect sort of torches and that thing as well. As we kind of come into the Caravan awning, you can see that internal zip on the inside as well. So again, that would just basically expand to allow that whole part to increase. Apex vent at the top. We've got pads located at the back here, so we have rear poles which are purchased additionally, and that helps to sort of seal the awning directly against the Caravan on the motorhome. And there's two little slots located up top here, so if you're going for the extra poles, use the one on the left, preferably because it's capped, and whereas the one on the right isn't. So one will allow you to sort of press underneath the motorhome wind-up awning, and the other one sort of just goes into dead pocket. You can pick and choose which one sort of suits you better. And we've also got little limpet holes as well, so you can buy little suctions, basically just seal that extra bit against the Caravan. Obviously got the mesh door which you can see on the other side, and that little window at the front. As you can see, with what we've done is just close the window off on the right hand side, left the one on the left side open. All of your kind of skirts come directly inside again just to help seal it, and you can buy optional carpet to go on the ground here as well. It actually has cutouts around the beam sections itself. You can see actually with the extra bit of roof, in terms of the clearance, there's plenty of room there, and we're only probably about maybe 20 centimeters above the door, so that works really quite nicely. We're not even in the center as well, because obviously ideally if your door is in the center, that will marry up to the highest point of, well, less fall of the roof, should we say. We've also got a little accessory point located here as well, so you want to add some organisers, so you can actually basically buy some organiser that goes directly onto that. But all in all, it's quite a nice little model. I think it looks really quite sharp, and kind of the new kind of colour scheme, I generally really quite like it. Like I said, or not sort of Matterhorn sort of peak, but you see how it is quite a bit more striking. It's not your sort of typical, porch awning that you might see on the campsite. That's the single inflation point located down there as well. So again, makes it life a lot easier. And there's a little webbing tab you can probably just see on the floor that stops you oversplaying the beams, so it doesn't mean it's going to be too far away from itself. And one thing I will point out is also the double side beading. So you can quite clearly see. There you go. So you've got two beadings there, one into the rail, which I've got in a moment, and one that sits beneath it as well. It just helps to get the roof looking nice and taut. Now, personally, I think the 260 is by far and away probably the most popular size, especially because you've got that M height, so they do that taller version that fits kind of motorhomes as well as taller motorhomes as well as kind of caravans. We have got some special, I think, on the 220 from last year with like a half price carpet at a good price as well. But they've kind of actually made these improvements without increasing the overall price point in comparison to the previous Leggera as well. So that also works really quite nicely. But hopefully we've given you a lot of information about the product. If you have more questions, queries, of course you can contact us via the link below or comment in the box below. We've also done a pitching video showing myself putting it up and down. Really nice and easy. So you get your pump supplied with it as a manual hand pump. So that comes supply as standard. It's it's a single phase one, which actually is probably a bit better. It's a bit easier on the back in that case. So that, like I said, is included with it. But I think the thing I like most about Leggera is the fact that it's, if you're looking for a small porch that's not particularly heavy, you don't want something that's going to be a burden to feed into the winder or into your caravan, but still is good quality. That's where I think the Leggera really kind of sits in a room in its own, really. I think the main body weight is probably around a 13 kilogram mark, and that's including all the bits and bobs. So it is quite a lightweight awning. Obviously, it depends on the size that you're actually kind of going for. But I think all in all, it's quite impressive. The new updates I really do quite like, especially the windows. Yeah, it's got a lot going for it in all. So, but like I said, any more questions, feel free to let us know. But that is kind of our Attwoolls video review on the brand new Dometic Leggera in the 220, the 260S, and obviously the 260M as well. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon in our next Attwoolls Outdoors video review.